The speed of everything. Chapter 1. Executive decisions. I've fired people for less than this. That's the thought running through my head as I stand in my father's kitchen. His kitchen, not mine. Staring at what appears to be a bowl of cereal that's been sitting out long enough to achieve sentience. The milk has separated into something resembling a science experiment. And I'm pretty sure the Cheerios have fused into a single, unbreakable mass. Dad? I call out, already knowing he won't answer. I find him in the living room, sitting in his armchair, staring at the television, which isn't on. Dad, did you eat breakfast? He looks up at me with those watery blue eyes that used to terrify me when I was 7 and brought home a C in math. Now they just look confused. I had something, he says, waving his hand vaguely. Toast, I think. There's no toast. There's no evidence of toast. There's only the cereal bowl that time forgot. And a growing sense of panic in my chest that I'm really not equipped for this. My name is Caroline Mitchell, and I run a digital marketing firm with 300 employees, 12 international clients, and an annual revenue that would make my younger self weep with joy. I can negotiate a hostile takeover before my second coffee. I once made a grown man cry during a presentation about quarterly projections. In my defense, his projections were terrible. But standing here, looking at my 78-year-old father who can't remember if he's eaten breakfast, I feel about as competent as a goldfish trying to file taxes. Pack a bag, Dad, I say, making the decision the way I make all decisions. Quickly and without looking back. You're coming to stay with me for a while. I'm fine here, Caro. You left the stove on yesterday. For 3 hours. It was a small fire. There shouldn't have been any fire at all. You were making tea. He opens his mouth to argue, then closes it. For a moment, I see a flash of the old him. The dad who could argue me into the ground about anything from politics to the correct way to load a dishwasher. Then it's gone, and he just looks tired. Just for a while, I say, softening my tone. Until we figure things out. He nods slowly. I'll pack some things. I watch him shuffle toward the bedroom, and pull out my phone, already composing an email to my assistant. Clear my schedule for tomorrow. Family emergency. Then I delete it and write instead. Working from home indefinitely. Route all urgent calls to my cell. I'm Caroline Mitchell. I can handle this. I'm almost certain I can handle this. There's a non-zero chance I can handle this. Chapter 2. The Adjustment Period. Or, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Chaos. It takes Dad 3 days to turn my minimalist, perfectly organized condo into what can only be described as a shrine to misplaced objects. I find his reading glasses in the refrigerator. His wallet is in the bathroom cabinet, nestled between my expensive face serum and the spare toilet paper. His keys. Don't even get me started on the keys. I've found them in the cookie jar, the laundry hamper, and once, inexplicably, in my briefcase. Dad, I say on day 4, holding up the remote control I just discovered in the microwave. We need to establish a system. He looks up from the newspaper he's reading. Upside down. He's reading the newspaper upside down. A system for what? For everything. Your things. Where they go. We could use labels, maybe color coding. I know where my things are. He says, with a confidence that would be admirable if it weren't completely unfounded. Your glasses are in the vegetable crisper. I knew that. Dad. I was keeping them cool. They were hot. Glasses don't get hot. These ones did. This is my life now. This is what I've become. I'm arguing with my father about the thermal properties of eyewear before I've even had my coffee. I make a strategic retreat to my home office, which is really just the second bedroom that I've converted into a command center of productivity. 4 monitors, a standing desk, and a wall of awards that remind me I'm good at what I do. Very good. Forbes 40 under 40 good. I'm in the middle of a video call with a client in Singapore when Dad appears in the doorframe. Caroline, do you have any cheese? I mute myself. Dad, I'm in a meeting. It'll just take a second. Do you have cheese? In the fridge. The cheese drawer. Labeled, cheese. I looked there. Look again. He shuffles off. I unmute. Sorry about that. As I was saying, the Q4 projections. Dad's back. There's no cheese. Dad, please. I really looked this time. I mute again. What kind of cheese are you looking for? The orange kind. That describes several kinds of cheese. Cheddar, Colby, American? I'll know it when I see it. I excuse myself from the call, storm to the kitchen, and find the cheese exactly where it should be. I hold it up triumphantly. Oh, Dad says. I thought that was butter. Chapter 3. The Morning Ritual. By week 2, I've accepted that my previous life is over. The old Caroline. The one who started work at 6 a.m. with a green smoothie and a perfectly planned day. Is dead. Long live the new Caroline, who starts her day entangling her father from the fitted sheet he's somehow wrapped himself in while looking for his slippers. They're on your feet, Dad. Not those slippers. The other ones. You only have one pair. Then where are these from? This is a mystery I don't have time to solve. I guide him to the kitchen, where I've started preparing breakfast the night before, because mornings have become an endurance sport. Orange juice? I offer. Is it fresh? It's from a carton. When I was your age, we squeezed our own oranges. You were alive before commercial orange juice? Don't be smart. I'm trying to figure out how to respond when he starts talking about a meeting he has at 2 o'clock. What meeting? I ask, already feeling the familiar spike of panic. With Henderson. About the merger. My father hasn't worked in 15 years. Henderson was his business partner, and he died in 2019. Dad, you're retired. Remember? He frowns, and I watch him trying to grab hold of something that keeps slipping away. It's like watching someone try to catch water with their bare hands. Right. He finally says. I knew that. But his shoulders slump a little, and I feel like the world's biggest jerk. Although, I say quickly, I actually do have a 2 o'clock meeting, and I could use your input. Want to sit in? His face brightens. Really? Really? You always had good instincts about people. This is true. Dad ran a small manufacturing company for 40 years. And he could read people like I read spreadsheets. Of course, back then, I found his folksy wisdom deeply embarrassing. I was all about data, metrics, measurable outcomes. He was about gut feelings and handshake deals. The meeting is with a potential client, a skincare company looking to rebrand. I set Dad up on the couch with a good view of my screen, and I catch him actually paying attention, nodding along. Afterward, he says, "I don't trust him." "Why not?" Kept touching his face. "My father taught me never to trust a man who can't keep his hands still." "That's not really. And he didn't ask you a single question about yourself. Just talked about what he needs. That's someone who sees you as a service, not a partner." I think about this. Replay the conversation in my head. Damn it. He's right. "When did you get so smart?" I ask. He grins. "I've always been smart. You just never slowed down long enough to notice." Chapter 4. The Great Grocery Store Expedition. Saturday morning, I make the mistake of taking Dad to the grocery store. In my defense, I thought it would be good for him. Fresh air. Normal activities. A chance to feel useful by helping me shop. I'm an idiot. We've been in the store for 7 minutes, and I've already lost him twice. I find him the first time in the cereal aisle, having a detailed conversation with a stock boy about the decline of grape nuts. "Dad, we need to keep moving." Dylan here agrees with me that cereal isn't what it used to be. Dylan, who is approximately 19 and clearly has no idea what's happening, nods supportively. The second time, he's in the produce section, sniffing cantaloupes. "What are you doing?" "Checking if they're ripe." "We don't need cantaloupe." "We might." "It's not on the list." "You can't plan everything, Caroline." This, from the man who forgot to wear pants to the lobby yesterday. I'm trying to guide him back to the cart when he stops suddenly, staring at the bananas. "Your mother loved bananas," he says quietly. "My mother died 6 years ago, and we don't talk about her much. It's not that we're avoiding it. It's just that talking about her makes the grief fresh again, and neither of us has been particularly good at dealing with that." "I remember," I say. "She'd eat one every morning with her coffee. Drove me crazy because she'd always leave a little bit of the peel in the sink." He's smiling now, lost in the memory. I'd complain, and she'd say, "Tom, if that's the worst thing I do all day, you're a lucky man." "You were," I say. "A lucky man." He looks at me, and for a moment, he's completely there. Completely present. "I still am," he says. "I have you." And just like that, I'm crying in the produce section of a Whole Foods, which is absolutely not how I plan to spend my Saturday. We buy the cantaloupe. And the bananas. And several other things that aren't on the list, because apparently, you can't plan everything. The checkout takes forever because Dad chats with the cashier about her tattoo, then with the bagger about his college plans, then with the woman behind us about her service dog. By the time we get to the car, I'm exhausted and Dad is energized. "That was nice," he says. "It took us 2 hours to buy 15 items. So? We're not in a hurry." "I have work to do." "You always have work to do." "The work will wait." "The cashier with the beautiful rose tattoo won't be there next time." "I don't care about her tattoo." "You should. Everyone has a story." Her story is on her arm. I think about this as I drive home, Dad dozing in the passenger seat. When was the last time I talked to someone? Really talked to them? About something other than business? When was the last time I was curious about another person just for the sake of being curious? I'm not sure I like the answer. Chapter 5. The Wednesday Afternoon Crisis. Wednesday afternoon, I find Dad standing in the middle of the living room, crying. Not gentle tears. Not a few drops. Full-body sobs that shake his shoulders and make him gasp for air. Dad? Dad, what's wrong? He can't speak. He just points at the coffee table. I look. There's a photo album I didn't even know he'd brought with him. It's open to a picture of Mom, young and laughing, holding a baby that must be me. I can't remember. He gasps out. I can't. I looked at this picture and I couldn't remember where we were. I know it's important. I know it meant something. But I can't. He dissolves again, and I do the only thing I can think of. I wrap my arms around him and hold on. It's okay. I whisper. It's okay. It's not okay. I'm losing everything. Every day, more pieces just disappear. I don't have a solution for this. I can't fix it with a spreadsheet or a strategic plan. I can't optimize his brain or run an efficiency analysis on his memory. Tell me about the picture, I say. Whatever you do, remember. He takes a shaky breath. Your mother. She's wearing that blue dress she loved. The one with the flowers. What else? You're wearing a hat. A ridiculous little hat with ears. Bear ears or bunny ears? Bunny, I think. Then I know where this was. The Easter egg hunt at Grant Park. You told me years ago that I refused to hunt for eggs because I didn't want to get my dress dirty. He laughs, a wet, choked sound. You sat on a bench and made me bring you eggs while you rated them. What can I say? I've always been management material. He's calming down now, his breathing evening out. But he still looks scared. What happens when I can't remember any of it? He asks. What happens when I look at you and don't know who you are? The question hangs in the air between us, heavy and terrible. Then I'll remember for both of us, I say. I'll tell you every story, every memory, every ridiculous thing you ever did. I'll be your backup drive. He almost smiles at that. Your backup drive. Exactly. And Dad? Even if you can't remember where we were or what we did, you'll still know the important thing. What's that? That you were loved. That Mom loved you. That I love you. That part doesn't need memory. That part just is. We sit there for a long time, looking at the photo album, me filling in the gaps he can't remember. And slowly, I realize something. I'm not just helping him remember. He's helping me remember too. All these stories, these moments. When was the last time I thought about them? When was the last time I slowed down enough to remember that I had a whole life before quarterly reports and client meetings? Chapter 6. The Art of Doing Nothing. I find Dad in my office on Thursday morning, sitting at my desk, looking at my awards. You've done well for yourself, he says. Thanks. Do you enjoy it? The question catches me off guard. Enjoy what? Your work. All of this. He gestures at the monitors, the awards, the organized chaos of my professional life. Of course I do. I mean, it's stressful, but that's not what I asked. I sit down on the couch, really thinking about it. I'm good at it. That's also not what I asked. I don't know. I haven't thought about it in a while. He nods, like this is the answer he expected. Want to play hooky today? Dad, I have 3 meetings. Cancel them. I can't just. Why not? I open my mouth to list all the reasons why not, all the responsibilities and obligations and people counting on me. But then I look at him, really look at him, and I see something I haven't seen in weeks. Hope. Okay. I say. What did you have in mind? Turns out, Dad's idea of playing hooky is going to the park and feeding ducks. This is what you wanted to do? I ask, standing by the pond with a bag of seeds we bought from the park vendor. This is what we're doing. He corrects. There's a difference between wanting and doing. I spent too much of my life wanting and not enough doing. We throw seeds to the ducks, who are enthusiastic but not particularly polite about it. When you were little, Dad says, we used to come here every Sunday. You remember? Not really. You'd cry every time we had to leave. Not because you'd miss the ducks. Because you'd miss the time. Even at 3 years old, you understood that time was the valuable thing. I was a weird 3-year-old. You were a wonderful 3-year-old. You still are wonderful. But somewhere along the way, you forgot how to just be. I know how to be. Do you? When was the last time you did something with no purpose? No goal, no objective, no desired outcome? I think about this. I think about it for a long time. I can't remember. I finally admit. That's a problem, Caro. We stay at the park for 3 hours. We don't do anything productive. We don't accomplish any goals. We just sit on a bench, throw seeds to ducks, and watch the world go by. It's the most relaxed I've felt in years. Chapter 7. The Late Night Conversation. It's 2 in the morning when I hear him get up. I find Dad in the kitchen, making tea. Or trying to. He's staring at the electric kettle like it personally offended him. It's not working, he says. You have to plug it in. I knew that. I plug in the kettle and get 2 mugs down from the cabinet. We've developed a routine now, 3 weeks in. When he can't sleep, I don't sleep. We have tea and talk about nothing and everything. Tell me about when I was little, I say, because these stories seem to be easier for him than the recent ones. The old memories are better preserved, like files stored in a deeper part of the hard drive. You were bossy from the beginning, he says, smiling. The nurse tried to take you for tests, and you screamed until your mother went with you. You were 2 hours old and already making demands. I prefer to think of it as showing leadership potential. Your mother and I used to argue about it. I thought you needed to be pushed to achieve things. She thought you needed to be taught to slow down and enjoy things. Turns out, you got my drive and her inability to relax. Worst of both worlds. Or best of both worlds, if you could figure out how to balance them. The kettle clicks off, and I pour the water. We're both quiet for a moment. I'm scared, he says suddenly. Of what? Of forgetting you. Of looking at you one day and seeing a stranger. My throat tightens. Dad, let me finish. I'm scared of that. But I'm also scared that you're going to spend so much time taking care of me that you forget to take care of yourself. That you'll put your life on hold for mine. You put your life on hold for me for 18 years. It's called parenting. It's different. You were growing into yourself. I'm shrinking away from myself. You're not shrinking. You're just changing. And maybe I need to change too. What do you mean? I think about the past 3 weeks. The frustration, yes, but also the unexpected moments of joy. The duck feeding. The grocery store conversations. The way he sees the world now. Slower, more detailed, finding beauty in things I've been rushing past for years. I think you're teaching me something, I say. Just like when I was little and you taught me to tie my shoes and read and all that stuff. You're teaching me again. What am I teaching you? How to slow down. How to notice things. How to be present. I laugh. It's ironic. I've spent my whole adult life trying to speed up, to do more, to achieve more. And here you are, forgetting how to rush, and maybe that's exactly what I need to learn. He reaches across the table and takes my hand. His skin is paper thin, spotted with age, but his grip is firm. You're going to be okay, he says. I know. No, I mean when I'm gone. When you can't ask me questions anymore. You're going to be okay. Tears are running down my face now. Don't. I need you to know that. I need you to know that whatever happens, you have everything you need inside you. The drive, the heart, the wisdom. It's all there. You just have to trust it. I don't want to do this without you. You won't be. I'll be right here. He taps my chest, right over my heart. All the important parts. All the stuff that matters. We sit in the kitchen until the sun comes up, drinking tea and talking. About Mom, about his childhood, about the time I accidentally set the garage on fire trying to build a rocket. I was 12 and very into science. About everything and nothing. And I realize that this moment, this conversation, this connection, is worth more than every award on my wall, every client in my portfolio, every achievement I've ever accomplished. Chapter 8. The New Normal. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my office when my assistant calls. Caroline, the Hendricks meeting is starting in 5 minutes. Cancel it, I say. What? Reschedule for next week. Something's come up. I close my laptop and find Dad in the living room, struggling with a puzzle. It's 1,000 pieces, and he's been working on it for 3 days. Yesterday he forgot he was working on it and tried to start a new one. Today he remembered, and he's furious that someone, him, but I don't mention it, messed up his sorting system. Want help? I ask. I can do it myself. I know you can. But maybe I want to do it with you. He looks at me suspiciously. Don't you have work? I'm always going to have work. Right now, I have puzzles. We work in comfortable silence, fitting pieces together. He's slower than he used to be, and sometimes he tries to force pieces that don't fit. But he's patient with himself in a way that's teaching me to be patient too. I got offered a huge contract today. I tell him. International expansion, major money. That's wonderful. I turned it down. He looks up. Why? Because it would mean traveling 4 days a week. Being on calls at all hours. Missing this. Caroline, you can't put your life on hold for me. I'm not. I'm putting my old life on hold for my actual life. There's a difference. And it's true. I've restructured my entire business model over the past 6 months. Smaller client list, higher quality work, better boundaries. I start work at 9 now instead of 6. I end at 5. I take weekends off. My revenue is down 30%, and I've never been happier. You know what I realized? I say, placing a piece of sky into the puzzle. I spent my whole life thinking that success meant going faster, doing more, achieving bigger things. But you've been showing me a different kind of success. What's that? Being present. Noticing things. Connecting with people. Actually living my life instead of just optimizing it. That's very wise. I learned from the best. He smiles, and even though I know there will be harder days ahead. Days when he doesn't remember my name, days when the confusion overwhelms him, days when I want to scream at the unfairness of it all. Right now, in this moment, we're okay. Better than okay. We're present. Chapter 9. Full circle. The call comes on a Tuesday. Dad is sitting in the kitchen, having forgotten what he came there for, when suddenly his face changes. He looks around the room like he's seeing it for the first time, and then he looks at me. Caro? Yeah, Dad? I don't know where I am. My heart stops. This is what we've been building toward, what all the doctors warned me about. The moment when the forgetting becomes complete, when he slips away entirely. But I remember what I promised him. What I promised myself. You're home, I say, sitting down next to him. You're with me, and you're safe. I feel lost. I know. But I'm here. I'll help you find your way. I start talking, telling him stories. About Mom, about his business, about the time he taught me to ride a bike by running alongside me for 2 hours straight, refusing to let go even though his back was killing him. About all the ways he showed up for me, over and over, patient and present and loving. Slowly, I watch some of the panic leave his eyes. Caroline? He says. Yes? I'm sorry I'm like this. Don't be. You know what you taught me recently? What? That there's no right way to be. No right speed. You spent my whole childhood teaching me that it was okay to take my time learning things, to go at my own pace. And now you're doing it again, just differently. I don't remember teaching you that. I remember. And that's enough for both of us. He relaxes into his chair, and I keep talking, keep filling the air with memories and stories and love. Later, after he's gone to bed, I sit at my desk and look at my calendar. It's full, but not too full. Manageable. Balanced. There's a meeting with a client, yes, but there's also lunch with Dad, and park time, and puzzle hour. My phone rings. It's my assistant. Caroline, I have the Brennan Group on the line. They want to know if you're interested in. Tell them I'll call them back tomorrow. But they said, tomorrow, Sarah. Tonight, I have plans. I hang up and go to the living room, where Dad has already forgotten he went to bed and is now watching a nature documentary about penguins. "Did you know," he says, "that emperor penguins can hold their breath for over 20 minutes? I didn't know that." "Neither did I. I just learned it." He looks delighted, like a kid discovering something for the first time. And I realize that this is it. This is the lesson I've been learning for 6 months. Every day is new. Every moment is a first time, if you let it be. You can spend your whole life rushing toward the next thing, or you can slow down and actually experience the thing you're in. I sit down next to him, and we watch penguins together. "Thanks, Dad," I say. "For what?" "For teaching me how to slow down." "Did I teach you that?" "Yeah. You did. You're still doing it, actually." He smiles, and even though he won't remember this conversation tomorrow, even though we'll probably have to have it again and again, it doesn't matter. Because I'll remember. And I'll keep slowing down. And I'll keep learning. And I'll keep being present for whatever time we have left, moving at his pace instead of mine, finally understanding that the destination was never the point. The journey. The slow, meandering, puzzle-filled, duck-feeding, tea-drinking, storytelling journey. That was always the point. I just had to slow down long enough to see it,